Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. If you're new here, definitely be sure to subscribe. If you're an AFC North fan, be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with the Bengals. But I want to get into the Bengals versus Ravens scouting report for this week. I did one earlier this year. If you want more in-depth analysis of the Ravens roster, I recommend checking out that one. This one will still be a analysis of their roster on the current front, but the other one will be more in-depth. So, the Bengals are taking on a Baltimore Ravens team that kind of has essentially kind of fell off a little bit after starting out pretty hot. It seemed like at first that they were going to be the second team to beat in the AFC North, and then they've kind of just fizzled out essentially. Right now they're third in the AFC North. They're trying to get back to 500, and they're a team that is going through a lot of change, especially after some reports that said that John Harbaugh could be out at the end of the year. But the biggest news, I think, going into this game starts at the quarterback position with Joe Flacco being out with a hip injury. This could leave either Lamar Jackson or Robert Griffin III as the starter, and Baltimore is trying to throw the Bengals off by not releasing which of those players will be starting. If Lamar Jackson starts, this will be interesting because this will be his first start at quarterback during the regular season. He had some plays in the preseason, and he was up and down, but I think that Lamar Jackson is a extremely talented quarterback. I think that he gets a lot of BS in terms of like the scouting, in terms of his natural abilities to throw. I think he's a way better passer than people think. Some people just think he's a runner, but he can actually throw as well. Just go and look at his college numbers in terms of passing. He also played in a pro-style offense with Bobby Petrino at Louisville, and Louisville completely fell off the map without him. That's why they just fired Bobby Petrino. But he is a dual-threat quarterback and will probably be the X factor in this game, especially for their offense. You go on and you look at the wide receiver position, and they still have those three guys in Snead, Crabtree, and John Brown. I'm interested to see, depending on which quarterback starts, I'm assuming Lamar, if he starts, what the chemistry is like with those receivers. I think it will bode well for John Brown just because he's a deep threat, but Lamar's accuracy has been an issue, but I don't think that it's an issue to the point that John Brown wouldn't be able to break past our secondary for a touchdown. You look at the offensive line, and Ronnie Stanley still commands that left tackle. They still have Alex Lewis, Matt Scara, Marshall Yanda, the big vet. But at the right tackle, it could be interesting because this could be the game where we see them begin to start Orlando Brown, who I was extremely interested in during the draft. I thought that the Bengals should actually draft him. So expect for this offensive line to be there. They are a pretty decent group. This will definitely be a test for the defensive line of the Bengals. And at tight end, they've got Nick Boyle. I'm not sure or not if Hayden Hurst is back yet. I know that he had an injury at one point. But they've got some pretty decent tight ends. You look at the running back position, it's Alex Collins and Buck Allen. They just traded for Ty Montgomery, so I'm not sure how many snaps Montgomery is playing. But they've got some solid running backs, but nobody that's really going to jump out and scare you. That's kind of been an issue for them ever since they kind of moved on from Ray Rice. They have not had a running back as talented as him since he left. I mean, he did kind of fall off in that last year, but just overall, they just have not had a marquee running back for years. So the Bengals should be able to at least contain Alex Collins. On defense, I think this caters more so to their strengths. They have Chris Wormley there at the defensive tackle, Brandon Williams at the nose, Brent Urban at the defensive end. Terrell Suggs is still manning that pass rusher role. C.J. Mosley, we kind of got lucky with him in that first game. I think he's probably the heart of their defense, and he got hurt early in that game. So we'll have to account for C.J. Mosley this time. You also have Matt Judon, Brandon Carr, is at the corner position. You also have Jimmy Smith. Those are two solid corners. Marlon Humphrey is solid. So they have a pretty good secondary, especially with Eric Weddle, but he seems to be slowing down. But Tony Jefferson might be out this game, so that could be big for the Bengals. So all in all, this will be a solid game. It's interesting to see how our wide receivers will react, especially with AJ Green being out. So we'll just have to wait and see how this offense rebounds and how this defense rebounds now that it's taken over by Marvin Lewis. But as usual, I'll leave you with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.